Hello again. Welcome to Verbling. Hi there. I'm Teacher Oakley. And for the next hour, we're going to practice our storytelling in English by sharing some anecdotes. I'm going to help you out by sharing some possible topics, and you can kind of think about what you're going to say. And you're going to practice speaking English by telling a story, something that happened to you, maybe something that happened to friends of yours, a specific story with sequence, a chronological or time order. All right. And usually that has some kind of a surprise ending or to describe some unusual situation or circumstances or incident. Okay, hello, welcome to the class, Heidi, again. Hello, Heidi.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Likewise, welcome to class. Hello, Michael. Good morning.
Hey, Teacher Oakley. Good afternoon, or what?
It's afternoon, right, where I am. Very good. Okay, and hello to Efe.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. Am I saying your name correctly, Efe? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Where are you from, Efe?
I'm from Turkey.
Turkey. Oh, I should have known that. Okay. Okay. Well, welcome to Verbling. Welcome to class. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Okay. So our topic basically today is anecdotes. All right. Just to be clear, let's look at the definition of anecdotes. Anecdote. All right. 3 syllables. Anecdote. Okay. Plural noun, anecdotes. All right. The most normal, common meaning for anecdote is number 1 here. A short, amusing, or interesting story about a real incident or person. That's it. That's what we're going to be doing. So in a phrase, he told anecdotes about his job. Little stories about his job. Great. Common collocation, amusing anecdotes. They're often kind of funny because of their surprises or, they're often humorous. There are a couple other meanings, though, which is interesting. Just, I don't know, trivia. We can also use the word anecdote to describe a story which is regarded as unreliable or hearsay, rumor. Hearsay is a more formal word for rumor. His wife's death has long been the subject of rumor and anecdote. Okay, stories about maybe she was murdered. Ooh, her relatives wanted to kill her for her money. Ooh, okay, things like that. Can be also sometimes called anecdote. All right. And then the strangest definition of all, one I had no idea of, actually, to be honest, the depiction of a minor narrative incident in a painting. So, a painting of a story, or the painting of an anecdote, what people would tell as a story. When somebody paints that story, that type of painting is actually called an anecdote, or and that's kind of interesting. All right, before we continue, I'd like to welcome Allah.
Yes, hi teacher, how are you?
I'm fine. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Allah?
You're getting close, but it's okay. It's Ahla. I'm from Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
Ahla.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the coaching. Hopefully I can repay you.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay. Welcome to the class. I, I, I really like your avatar, the person in the rain. Wow, it
Yeah.
looks like it's really
Ah,
raining. That's
I love
cool.
it so much.
That's really
Thank
cool.
you.
Yeah, I like that. Awesome. Okay. I hope you came prepared to talk because you're going to. I'm going to stop talking here soon
Oh,
enough and let you guys
sorry.
tell me a story. We're going to practice telling a story. You kind of need to concentrate on using correct language to keep the sequence of the story. You're telling us an actual story, past tense. All right. All anecdotes have
Mhm.
to be past tense. You're telling a story about something in the past. Um, be aware you're going to have to speak in, proper sequencing. You tell a story has to go in order, of course. All right. Well, I did this class once before. I think maybe Michael was in the class, actually, if I remember correctly. And we thought about various things you could tell an anecdote about. So we have a list of suggestions. Of course, you can make your own. For example, telling a small story about a time you got lost, a clothing malfunction. Okay. Uh, Fa, do you know what that means? A clothing malfunction? What am I talking
Uh,
about?
well, it's something like that. A tiny clothing like that. I mean, you can try when you try a clothing. It went. I mean, what was the word? Uh, it's very tiny and it doesn't fit you. Something like that.
Not quite. No. Okay. Uh, that would be you're describing a clothing defect, maybe.
Oh, oh, okay.
Uh, okay. Clothing malfunction. This is a relatively new collocation in English. This actually, this I've never heard
Really?
this before. This is pretty new. When Michael Jackson's sister, what's her name? Also famous
Hmm.
singer. Uh, now
I
I
know
can't
that
remember her name.
incident with Justin Timberlake, but I
Yeah,
forgot their name too.
right, right. Well, it'll come to me. But anyway, she was performing at the Super Bowl in the United States, and part of her, I forgot, blouse or dress or something slipped off, and she was not wearing anything underneath. And thus, a new collocation in English was born. She had a clothing malfunction.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you split your pants in public, your pants split open, or you go to work with your shirt buttoned incorrectly or
Oh,
inside out. All right, these types of things would be a clothing malfunction. Normal clothes, but something happens. They don't work normally. Okay. All right. That's amusing stories can be told about when these things happen. So, all right, possible topic for a story. A time you ate spoiled food. Okay, pretty much all of us have a story about when we ate something bad, spoiled, bad, something naughty you did as a child when you got into trouble. All right, these are all stories that would be very normal for English speakers to sit around and socialize and tell each other stories, friends, hanging out together. Uh, an embarrassing situation involving money or having no money when you're supposed to have some. Possibly an accident, a fight with your boss. Oh, always fun stories. A time you had a bad haircut. All right. A case of mistaken identity. What is mistaken identity? Michael, do you know what that means?
Well, when someone you mix up someone with, so you think that that person is your maybe your relative or someone, but it's not like that. It's a
Right.
stranger. You say
Okay.
hello, hi, hi Oakley, how are you? And they say I'm not Oakley, I'm John. I'm John
Yeah.
from Chicago.
Right. Very good. Okay. Good example. All right.
And all should laugh after I said that, but no one laughed.
Well, I did inside. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right. Okay. These are just examples of possible things you could tell a story about. A time you couldn't think of anything to say. Uh, Unexpected results. Okay. Very much fodder or useful material for telling an anecdote. A situation where you overreacted. Also very amusing. When your response was totally not appropriate to a situation. Right. These are just some possible ideas that you can work with to tell a story. That's all we're going to do. Tell a story, and I'll give you feedback. Anything about sentence structure, vocabulary, etc. And if I can, I'll help you out if you get stuck. Before we start, let me welcome Ken. Hi, Ken.
Yes, hello, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Nice
Thank
to see
you.
you. Okay, Heidi, I think you were first in the class by about a split second over
I have
Michael.
I have a little mysterious story.
Oh, great. A mystery.
Not so mystery. Very weird.
All right. Okay. Great.
That time I was living in another place, a little far from this place. My apartment was just side of a river. And then summer season, usually the river has no water. But when the rain was strongly falls, the river accumulates a lot of water. Sometimes kids enjoy playing that place. One summer, a kid died. He was about 8 years old. Died in the river, drowned. His mother was quite old. When she gave birth to him, she was already over 40 years old. So the kid was very important for her, like treasure. She cried a lot every day. And next year, I found her pregnant. His belly was quite big. Every month, his belly was getting bigger and bigger. We are very glad. Oh, he got pregnant again. It's very happy for her. We thought so. Then, after several months, she was holding a baby and wrapping some very beautiful clothes. Then we were sitting in a coffee shop when my friend saw her baby. It was not a baby, a doll.
Oh my. No way.
What?
Ooh, ooh. Very scary. It was
Oh my
okay.
God.
It was not a baby. It was a doll.
Yeah.
That is just freaky. Okay. That's okay. That's a great example of an anecdote. A surprise
True
ending.
story.
True story. Really.
Yeah.
Wow. It sounds like fiction, you know?
Not
Um, wow, okay. All right. Uh, all right. When telling an anecdote, actually, I want a little feedback. Very common to preface it, to begin it, by saying, I want to tell a story about a true story about something that I witnessed at that time. Okay, Heidi started with that time. Really, the phrase should be at that time there was a dry riverbed. Okay. Um, Very common way to start a story. So you're giving the what's called the setting. All right, and actually this is important when you tell a story. You give a setting. You basically have to give. Definitely, you should be giving the place and maybe some idea of the time, which actually Heidi did. All right, so she described the river and the lady, and obviously it was in the past. Okay, a little vocabulary. We when there, excuse me, when there's a river, um, and there's no water in it, or a lot of the time there's no water in it, maybe only springtime when the snow melts, something like that. We call that a dry creek, maybe a dry river or a dry river bed. The bottom of a river is called the bed of the river. So, all right, it was a dry river bed. And very unfortunately, this person drowned in, I assume because there was a sudden flood. Okay. All right. One other thing, Heidi, you said, we saw that her belly was getting big, and it was very happy for her. Well, you could say we were very happy for her, or just simply she was very happy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with happy for, you are happy for somebody. That's a common English phrase or collocation. Okay, but that was a spooky story. And I hope I don't have bad dreams. Okay? Ooh. Kind of a scary story. Okay. Great example. All right, Michael, your turn. What kind of an anecdote would you like to tell? Amusing,
Well,
scary, surprising?
no, I will tell amusing.
Okay.
So that was when this situation was. So this situation happened when I was a child. Like I was, teenager, let's say 15 years old about, when I was studying in school.
Uh-huh.
Or in high school. I don't remember. And a friend of mine, he bought a mobile phone. Like, and it was had a defect, yeah.
Okay, very good.
So, like the battery went. So when the battery very quickly is empty, how would you say? The battery.
Oh, well, I would use the adjective. The battery was defective, and it didn't hold a charge. Is how we would say that.
Yeah, the battery, but not the battery to be exactly. So the phone was defected, and because of that, the battery didn't hold the charge. So the phone, how would you say that, charged more power like than is usually should, or what?
Really? That's a weird defect. Okay.
No, but that's
it took
broken.
more power to charge the phone than normal?
No.
Or
For example,
it stored more power.
No. So, for example, your phone, you have a mobile phone, so it works like for 2 days, for example, with a simple battery, yeah? But that phone worked only no more than 1 hour because the phone took more energy, or what?
Yeah, okay. It took more energy. Yeah, that's it. Or consumed more energy.
Yeah,
sure.
Consume. Because of that was like. So that's a defect, phone defect. Like, it had like with his antenna. Yeah, antenna.
Antenna.
Yeah, or no?
This is a long time ago, I guess. An antenna is that like a metal thing, usually collapsible or telescopic, which you can pull out so you get better reception.
Yeah, so every phone has antenna, but you don't see it. It's
Oh,
inside.
right. It's built
It's
in
inside.
now. Yeah,
Yeah,
the really old cell phones actually had an antenna.
yeah, they had. So and what's the fact with that? Like, some pieces were broken there, basically.
Okay.
And we decided to, like, he asked my advice, and we decided both to either to sell to another guy or to change on another phone, like, to change. And we put advertisement on the internet, and called in a while, like in 2 days, called us a guy, and he said he's like interested to change the phone on another phone.
Okay.
And we went. We said, okay, let's go, and we went. Like, we met in the city center, and what was interesting that my friend charged the phone all the day before to go to. Do you understand why? Because
Yes, I understand why.
suddenly the phone would not turn off in front of that person. And we went and we met there, and he showed us his phone. His phone was really good, like, and I mean, kind of new and looked good. And that guy was like about 28 years old, 30 years old, or something, 35, like, so it's older guy.
Uh-huh.
And he looked at our phone, and he started to look in it, like, functions. And I was starting to laugh a little bit, like, laughing.
Mm,
And my
yeah.
friends started to laugh. Do you know why? Do you understand?
Yeah. Yes, of
Because
course.
was broken the phone, basically. And he looked so, and were laughing, like, not evidently, not like prominently, but you
Hmm.
know how, well, like, you try to hide that laugh.
Right. Yeah.
And that guy looked at us, and something he understood, but he didn't know. He asked, "Is this phone okay?" Like, yes, of course, sure. It's an awesome phone. Why do you want to, like, change? And my friend said, like, well, because I'm like sick of it. I want something new. Like, that's why, just because of that. And
Mm.
and he said, look, listen, if you if you give me like a BS, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Like, so a bad thing. If it's a bad thing, I will find you. I will find you, and I will, like, I don't know what he said, like, threaten us a little bit. Like, no,
Okay.
be what? So don't worry. Like, be
Yeah, be confident. Rest assured is a very common.
what?
Yeah. Yeah, well, here's a common phrase. Rest assured, everything is fine. Be very
Oh,
suspicious if an English speaker says, rest assured. You can
uh-huh.
rely on me. Rest assured,
Yeah.
everything's fine. You should be suspicious if you hear this, but it's a common phrase.
So we
You,
told him, like,
yeah.
rest assured, like, don't worry, all is okay. The phone is super. Like, you will not regret something like that. But
Hmm.
he looked so suspicious at us. Like, he said, if you are lying, I will find you, and
Yeah.
you will have problems with me. He said, sure, sure, don't worry. You have our phone number. Like, call us at this phone number if you have any troubles with it.
Uh-huh.
And we took the phone. And we went, and we were laughing so hard, like, we were laughing. And my friend turned, so closed the phone. I mean, I closed the number, his number, so he would not receive phone calls
Hmm.
from that.
Right.
So,
Okay.
do you think that sounds like a scam?
Well, yes, I do.
Well, what I can say, I was like 15 years old, so I wasn't like 18 years. I couldn't answer for my actions. I
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
okay.
All right. We all do stupid things when we're young. Okay.
Yep.
I understand. Okay. Okay. And you got away with your crimes. Okay. A little feedback for you. A couple times, I don't know why, but you switched order in your sentences. For example, we decided both to whatever. Of course, it should be we both decided.
Hmm.
Right, both. It should be
Both
the
decided.
subject. Yeah, we both decided to do something. All right, the two of us. And also, and then later called us a guy. Obviously, a guy called us. For some reason, you kept swapping the subject and the verb.
Okay.
You don't normally ever do that, Michael, but at least twice. And one other thing, vocabulary-wise, if you're going to trade somebody, no money involved, but a trade,
Oh,
you can
okay.
you
Mhm.
can trade. We can trade, or you call that a swap, or you swap out two things, or more formally, you exchange. Like, for example, in a department store, you buy your mother a sweater and it doesn't fit, you can usually exchange it for another one in a different size. Usually that's not a problem. So,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Uh, okay, we have stories of crime stories.
That's not a crime story. That's
Macabre stories. By the way, that story, okay, here's an interesting English word. The story Heidi told was somewhat macabre. Macabre, hard word to pronounce even for me. But that is a very good example of a macabre story, kind of dark and a little frightening and just the kind of story that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, very macabre. All right, Edgar Allan Poe kind of story. Uh, all right, Fa, what do you have for our amusement and entertainment?
The story I'm about to tell is happened in high school when I
Great.
was 17 years old. It's a relatively short story, but I'm gonna tell it anyway. It's a funny one. Okay, when I was high school, me and my buddies are always horsing around with each other. I mean, we constantly make jokes. We try to impress girls and such
Mm,
things. Mm, so one day in the middle of class, but there was no teacher. He hadn't come yet. He came yet. We thought that we tried to we wanted to impress the other our friends. So we thought up game. This game is like this. Uh, some I mean a, a person bends and the other person jumps above him like constantly and speedy. It must be fast. It's something like that. So we start to play that game. The more we played, I noticed something was very wrong. It was that some noises came from my trousers. Okay, when I jumped. So, but I didn't care. I played anyway. The time we played the game, the noises come constantly and more frequently. So after the my what was like seventh jump, my trousers split out, and my pink underwear saw there is
oh,
all the classes saw my pink underwear, and all the people started to laugh to me. The girls also was very enjoyed this situation. So that was very embarrassing for me. But this accident, some weird way, gave me popularity. I don't know.
That's funny. Okay. All right. It made you vulnerable to the ladies and
Yeah,
ladies like that. There you go.
yeah.
All right. Very, very clever. Fa, don't feel bad. I was on, as a matter of fact, a football team, soccer team in high school, and my younger sister tried to help my mother by doing the laundry. So you know how if you put bleach in the
Yeah.
laundry improperly, your white clothes, and she mixed white clothes and colored clothes. So somehow my underwear ended up like bright pink, and
Oh,
we had to take a shower after, practice or what have you, and I forgot that I had no other clean underwear, so I had worn my like bright pink underpants. I
yeah.
was so embarrassed, really.
Don't be.
Well, I guess I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Okay. FA, a little feedback. Of course, it's past tense. So you said my friends and I are always trying to impress the ladies.
Yeah.
I like the always clause to show that this is something that you did all the time. But of course, it should be past tense. We were
Yeah.
always. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
And okay. Also, um, you switched an adjective and a pronoun. You said other our friends. Of course, it should be our other friends.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then a little bit of vocabulary. I'm not sure if this is the game that you were playing. I'm not positive. But if a person kind of bends down, one person in front bends down, just bends their back, maybe even puts their hand on the floor, or
Yeah.
at least bends down, and the person comes up behind them and jumps over them, and then the person who is first bent down jumps over the first one, or you can do it in a line of however many people.
Yeah.
We actually have a word for that in English. You're playing jump frog, it's called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's actually a word for that in English.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, that was a great one. Okay, very good. Very often when we tell an anecdote socially, for everyone's amusement and just having fun, it's often self-deprecating. Very common. Uh, do you know what that means? Fa? Self-deprecating.
Self-deprecating. No, I don't know.
Okay.
You make fun of yourself.
Exactly.
But you think that you're really smart. So.
Well, I don't know about that part.
No, I mean
Not necessarily.
you make not necessarily, but in most cases, like if you in some cases, if you are making fun of yourself, you don't really think that you are really so stupid or something like that.
Okay, well that's up to the individual. If they're
okay,
yeah, you can tell a self-deprecating story in order to manipulate people, or you can just tell a self-deprecating story because you think it's funny.
I am.
So, like Fa just did. I'm sure he's not in any way trying to manipulate us. I think that was an amusing story and a very great. Yeah, I think that was an awesome anecdote.
Thanks.
Ahla, guess what? It's your turn. Come in out of the rain. Okay. What would you like to tell us a story about?
Sure.
Sure. You can pick one of these topics or something else that comes to mind.
Okay. I'm not really sure in which category I should put my story, but um,
It's okay.
I had this childhood memory. Um, I am the only person in my family who has dimples on his cheek, and I'm happy for that. But actually, when I was a baby, when I was, I'm not sure, maybe 4 or 5 years old, my brothers and sisters, they used to tease me a lot about my cheeks and stuff. And whenever, as children, we fight a lot. And oh my God, with my sister, she told me once that um, she told me that, do you know that you are the only one who has dimples? And I don't know actually what, I did not know what dimples mean when I was a child, but she brought me a mirror and she said, look at your dimples. And I looked at them and she said, do you know how did you get them? I said, no. She said, oh, I'm gonna tell you a secret, and it's really scary. I said, what? She said, well, my father and mother, they found you under a tree one day and they brought you home, and uh, a witch came to our home and she told them that whenever she's gonna come and take me back because I'm her own or something, and these dimples are the sign for the witch. So whenever she comes and she sees me in front of the house or between the children, she's gonna know that it's me and she's gonna take me with her.
Oh
Oh my
my
God, I
goodness.
mean, I still have these memories. Yeah, and
Sure.
I'm still the only one in my family who has dimples. What? No, I'm grown up and I know why I have them.
Okay. Uh, for those who may not know, dimples are like creases, little marks, um, usually in your face, usually. Uh, that okay. Often you can see the dimples when you smile, for example, which tells me that probably you smile a lot. So anyway, eh, okay. All right, good. Actually, that was not even on the list, but an excellent choice of topic. Talking about, uh, all right, childhood anecdotes are very common. Also, talking about when someone convinces somebody else of something that's not true. It can be very funny. You know, my grandfather is so weird, but he has a very twisted sense of humor. He would all the grandchildren, not just me, not all the grandchildren. He would teach them, "Oh, look there, look at the cows in the field." But he'd be pointing to horses. He'd call cows horses and horses dogs and cats whoops cats dogs and dogs
Ah,
cats and chickens he'd call ducks and cars he'd call trucks all the time just to mess with the child. Very warped, but it amused him to no end when when the kid would go, "Grandpa, look, cow," and point at a horse. He would just laugh and laugh and laugh. I don't know why. Weird sense of humor. Uh, yeah, telling the younger children in the family stories about where they came from. That is like a classic anecdote. And yes, Javier, I don't know where you are. You should join the class. But yes, Javier is correct. I had a mental slip up. It's called leapfrog, not jump frog. I don't know. I think I was listening to you and I just wrote jump frog down in my notes and I didn't think about it. But my mistake. I stand corrected. Uh, but I can add to that. Now that I see leapfrog, I remember that it's also used in idioms. If, okay, for example, back in the 1980s, Pepsi Cola Company leapfrogged Coca Cola because of some of the problems Coca-Cola had in marketing. All right, so they jumped over. So if a person or a company, some one thing jumps over and gets ahead of the other person or other thing, suddenly we can say it leapfrogged. It's used as a comparison. It moved ahead of the other. Whatever. Uh, Bob leapfrogged Mark in the competition to become the new vice president when he finished the project 3 weeks early. All right, he moved ahead. So we definitely use it. Also, not only is it a noun, a game, but we use it idiomatically. Did you know that, Javier? Just kidding. Thank you, Javier, for the correction. I would prefer to get it right. So I appreciate it. And thank you for your story, Allah. Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ken,
Yes.
it's your turn.
Okay. Um, um, I might have told this story before, but I used to go to swimming sports school, and I went there by bicycle. And one night after swimming, I was when I was returning to my home, and it was a bit cloudy day, and there's not so many stars on the sky. And I saw the sky a bit, and I found a strange point, a shiny dot in the sky. So I thought, oh, it was an airplane or helicopter. However, the movement of that shiny point is pretty irregular. Usually airplane and helicopter fly straight, but that dot is, back and forth, fly back and forth, pretty at random movement. So I thought, wow, UFO exists. Many people's, story was truth. I saw UFO. Wow. I was pretty excited about that, and I was thinking about UFO at that night, and I slept. And the next day, I opened the newspaper, and the newspapers has a local section. And in the local section, small news, I have found a small news. It says UFO incident happened in my town. Many people called police to ask what is it, or to report that enigmatic object. And the newspaper say it was newly opened pachinko parlors searchlight. Maybe pachinko for promotion, pachinko parlor project searchlight, and it reflected the clouded sky. So yeah, but the movement is exactly the same image I saw the UFO in the TV or movie or something. So, kind of exciting, but yeah. But anyway, I relieved to identify what is it after that. Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Just for those who don't know, what is a pachinko parlor?
A pachinko parlor is a kind of gamble place. A Japanese gamble place like casino or kind of slot machine type machine.
Right. And don't they have those machines like they drop a ball or maybe something round or flat and it goes ting, 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 ting.
Yeah.
It hits on different things as
So
it falls down with gravity.
Yes. Nowadays, a computer, controlled. So, but in the past, more manual, so we can rely on our luck. But nowadays, computer control the machine. Anyway, that pachinko parlor is usually how can I say, to draw the customer's attention, they usually, how can I say, decorate like discotheque. A lot of decoration at pachinko parlor or light, such kind of light.
Yeah.
So while I took the foreign people somewhere by my car, so they asked me, "What is it? It's everywhere. Is it like a club or disco?" Yeah, that's kind of kind of building. Yeah,
Right.
but
Okay, in Western culture, they do the same thing with bingo parlors, actually.
I see.
Kind of funny. Yeah. Okay. A little feedback. Okay, if you're gonna if you're gonna ask me a direct question, you would say, "What is it?" Of course, that's perfectly natural. But speaking in the third person, okay, many people asked what it was because past tense.
Mhm.
Okay, many people asked what it was. So instead of what is it, they asked what it was. Okay. And also that, maybe you said it, I don't know. The light shining into the sky, reflecting from the clouds, that thing is called a spotlight.
No, not such a spotlight. Yeah.
Spotlight, right. Yeah, a very strong beam of light. Actors and actresses have spotlights on them when they perform, of course. Right. Okay. Yeah. Reminds me of a short anecdote. I was visiting Los Angeles, and I was there, and we were overnight in our hotel right near the beach, Santa Monica Pier, actually, and famous place in Los Angeles. And we were there in the hotel, and were woken up because there was an earthquake in Los Angeles, an earthquake, amazing, and it woke us up. We were sound asleep. I don't know, happened 5 or 6 in the morning. Woke us up. Some things fell off the shelves. A lamp fell over. We were wow. Think about it. We were in Los Angeles. Earthquake. So we decided, okay, we need to get a newspaper, Los Angeles Times, so that we can show people that we were in this earthquake. We were actually in Los Angeles when this happened. We were all excited, my friend and I. And so we went out looking for a newspaper, and we talked to a few people. Hey, did you feel that? And people just looked at us like, what? What are you talking about? People basically thought just ignored us. And I think we bought the paper, and we went to a small cafe or a small place for breakfast, a diner. And we wanted to look in the newspaper to see, we thought it would be headlines. Oh, wow, we can show this to the people back home when we get home. And we asked the waitress, we asked people sitting next to us, oh, did you feel the earthquake? And everyone just, yeah, they were very bland and blasé, and yeah, okay, the sun came up today, who cares? They really didn't care. And in fact, in the newspaper, I still remember it was page 28 in the newspaper, small, about this much writing. Today there was an earthquake, 4.6 in the Santa Monica Pier region. Like literally 3 or 4 sentences. That was it. That was our total coverage. Our total misconception that it would be a big deal. We totally thought that this was a major news event, but it was actually for Los Angeles, where they have hundreds of earthquakes every year. This was like, so what? They pay no more attention. It's actually more exciting in Los Angeles if it rains than if they have an earthquake. People talk about it. It's raining. Can you believe it? If there's an earthquake, nobody even talks about it. It's like having breakfast. Who cares? So there you go. Very interesting. Very weird. Very fun thing. So, okay. There's another great, and there's another area for anecdotes, and that is culture shocks. When we've traveled somewhere else, it's some assumption we had was completely wrong, or we're surprised by something new. Even myself, I'm an American traveling in America. I had a culture shock. So, uh, okay, Heidi, have you ever had a culture shock before?
Yes, it's often.
I know you travel a lot, so I'm
Yeah.
sure you have. I knew I could count on you. Well, can you think of an example of a time you experienced culture shock?
Yeah. At first, I went to Italy to learn Italian. I stayed in a small village in the school dormitory. And finally, I finished the studying time for 4 weeks. Then we had a small party, the goodbye party. A teacher started to kiss to both of cheeks. I was very surprised. It was first
hmm
time, so
Okay, there you go. Common cultural tradition. Kiss both cheeks, especially to say goodbye. You weren't ready
yeah.
for that, were you? Okay, good one.
So my turn is approaching. My turn was approaching. So my body was rigid.
Okay. Ooh. Yeah. And your eyes were wide, I'm sure.
It was
Funny.
a male teacher, so
Right.
he saw my face expression, very strange maybe,
Uh-huh.
not laughing, not smiling. So he pulled his hand. We had hand shaking only that.
Ah, okay. Well, your teacher was very perceptive to see that, and it changed his behavior. Ah, that's funny. Ah, okay. Short anecdotes. Michael, have you ever experienced culture shock before? You don't even have to travel to get culture shock, by the way. You can meet someone from another country and experience culture shock. Uh,
Mm, no, not so much culture shock. I
no?
met like an Americans and a Spanish person. No, they are kind of the same.
Yeah, not
There's
even,
not.
I know you've traveled to England. Did you ever, did you
Yeah, but
experience any culture shock there?
no,
No.
I didn't experience a culture shock. No, but I said I told you that it was like on the 4th of July celebration, yeah, kind of
Ah,
like that week, and I've spoken like with about 4 or 5 Americans and one Spanish guy, Spanish from Spain, and not so much culture shock with them. I didn't have
okay.
any
So
misunderstandings or something.
when you were in England, obviously you didn't eat any haggis, or you would have experienced culture shock.
Yep, I did it.
Very funny. It was in the newspapers and then on the internet news too. Uh, that this is so bizarre. England's having a kind of a miniature trade war with America because America refuses to allow import of haggis. It's on a banned item. You cannot have haggis in the United States. There's a reason for that. They do not allow people. You're not allowed to eat internal organs other than specified, like liver. You're allowed to eat, but other things, kidneys, heart, lungs, spleen, these things are not allowed to be sold in the United States. So there's a trade war. England wants Americans to eat haggis. Why, I don't know. It's really not good stuff. Fa, have you ever experienced culture shock?
I experienced a local cultural shock. I mean,
Uh-huh.
when I traveled to east of my country side, we went breakfast. We went a restaurant for breakfast with my friend, and normally I start with breakfast with light meals such as little tomatoes and a coffee or tea and some bread. But in that restaurant, they gave us a meat. They present us a meat. It was very shocking for me to start a breakfast with a meat.
Okay.
That's not like I mean bacon or something like a pasture or like that. It was like a beef or something very heavy to digest. I mean, for breakfast.
A whole steak.
Yeah, whole steak. Yeah.
Nice. Cowboy breakfast, we call that in American. Yeah, every once in a while, rarely. It's not a normal thing, but rarely in American culture, people do that. They have a steak for breakfast. A breakfast steak. Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right. Interesting. So again, you can have culture shock within your own country, really within your own society. It's very normal. Okay. Ahla. Have you ever experienced culture shock?
Yes. In my city, actually, we used to have fish as a breakfast, and this is a sort of a culture shock for other cities or other people visiting here. But actually, people here, especially children, are so smart. Maybe because of the fish, I don't know, but
good one.
really, yeah. It's not usual to have fish for breakfast, but wallahi, I mean here it's so usual and okay to have fish for breakfast. And the children, oh my God, they are so energetic, and they are so smart, and they are amazing. I don't know. They are not lazy or just sitting with their smartphones or playing PlayStation or stuff like that. No, they are just outside most of the time, and they have good grades at school, and maybe because of the fish, and they know how to swim, by the way.
Great.
Maybe because of the fish.
Ahla, are you a teacher by any chance?
Yeah, I'm one of your previous students. Actually, I'm the first student here on Verbling to welcome you on your first class. That was last year or something. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, wow. I'm amazed. I am flattered. Well, it's certainly wonderful to have you back in class. Okay. Terrific.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, fish is brain food, or at least that's I don't know. That's what I've heard. That's what people say. I don't know if it's scientifically substantiated, but I've heard that before. I don't know. I doubt it, though, because I live in the Philippines. And in the Philippines, also very common to have fish for breakfast. But I haven't really noticed anybody being particularly smarter. Woohoo! Just kidding.
But at least they know how to swim, maybe.
No, you would be shocked how many Filipinos do not know how to swim. I'd say it's about 50-50, but even to me that's shocking because this is a country made up of 7,100 islands, and at least half the people can't swim. It's amazing to me. Okay. Actually, hate to do it to you, Ken. Get you next time. Ken, we're all out of time, I'm afraid. So I'm going to have to bid you all adieu. Ciao. Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir. Goodbye. And see you guys again. Ciao.
In Russian, tell in Russian how it will be.
I don't know. What is Russian for goodbye?
Will you repeat? До свидания.
Das vidania, I knew that. Okay, I did know
Wow,
that.
that sounds great. Or
Okay.
simpler paka.
Baka. Oh, I did not know that one. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, bye guys. Thank you very much. It was a
Thank
very
you.
enjoyable
Bye.
class.
Thank you. Thank
Goodbye.
you.
See you
Bye.
again soon.
Thank you so
Paka
much.
paka.
Bye.